Now that Stafford's not available, the Raiders and the Giants have to look elsewhere. That means this man, in my opinion, is the best available player to acquire at the quarterback position in 2025. Now, I do think long-term, I would rather have Cam Ward. I think I'd rather have Justin Fields maybe
motion detected at
by
the front door.
this much in redraft or in a redraft mentality for an NFL team over Shedeur Sanders, because I'd rather have the now ability that Justin Fields brings to the table. In certain situations, like in New York with the quarterback whisperer Brian Dable, I might want Shedeur there throwing footballs to Malik Neighbors, developing together and having a long-lasting, growing relationship. But Fields, by far, is the best chance any team has to win right now. You can be a Fields hater all you want. You can talk about how he didn't do well in Chicago, how he didn't do well in Pittsburgh, but you'd be running your mouth. You'd be running your trap, because this kid's never been given a proper opportunity. Even in Pittsburgh. It was almost worse in Pittsburgh than it was in Chicago in some sense. So you can call into the show. We can have it out however you want to discuss why this guy is not going to be a good quarterback, never will. He's inaccurate, Smitty. He's inaccurate. You're going to judge him on all of his past when he wasn't supported even one iota.
Motion detected at
This
the front
man
door.
is the best option that the Raiders have to win football games in 2025. This man is the best option that the Giants have to win football games in 2025. And I believe that his market value is about to go up tremendously, and hopefully he understands what time it is and doesn't crawl back to the Pittsburgh Steelers like it appears that there's a potential for him to do. Now, you are starting to hear that the Steelers are interested in Russell Wilson again. You got to wonder if that's because they've been getting a little bit of a cold shoulder from the man they turned away all year long and turned their back the door on, and it's just around and around we go. Aaron Rodgers still a potential suitor for the Raiders. Aaron Rodgers could be someone that a few of these teams look at, but I have some news for you, some other potential yes and no's from teams, or at least some rumors that teams are not interested in a few of these guys. We're breaking it all down here. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks. Live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Live most midnights. We'll be live tonight at midnight. This will be the third show tonight when we go live tonight. Fields is a good quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. You know, the phone lines are open now if you want to call in and argue and give me your garbage take as to why Fields is not going to ever be a good quarterback.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Phone lines open. We got this report here from ESPN's Adam Schefter. Reports the Raiders are now expected to investigate veteran quarterback options that include Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Sam Darnold. It sounds like they're not as interested in Darnold, according to this report. This report here is from The Athletic. I don't know how much weight I put into this, but Tom Brady and the Raiders GM are not super high on Darnold or other potential free agent quarterbacks. It's hard to know what's true. You know, this is all smoke and mirrors. This is all, hey, I want to pretend I'm relevant. And I know something. I've got some, trust me, bro, source over here. Trust me, bro. That's my source. Anybody that can't name their source, I go over this every freaking other day, it seems. Anybody that can't name their source is either talking to a rat or a stuffed animal. If you can only say source, you better be Adam Schefter or Ian Rappaport and have a track record of having sources that you can't name. Then okay, you've made your bed. We know what time it is. We know where you stand. You have a history. But if you're some Mickey Mouse Twitter account or some Mickey Mouse podcast that's literally two kids in their mom's basement and no one knows because they did a good job creating a following. But if you're a Mickey Mouse content creator or podcast and you're saying, according to my source, you don't have no source, pal. Not unless your mom's dating the secretary's janitor that overheard a conversation and then that makes him a rat. Nobody's got any sources unless you're in the big seat. Unless you're working for the big dog. I'm not here breaking news. I'm as connected as you can get doing this for 23, 4 plus years professionally. And no one's breaking news to me. I'm here to digest it. I don't pretend to be a news breaker from the top level. We're here to digest it. We're here to talk about it. We're here to act out the scenarios. We're here to decide what happens to this landing spot. What do we want? What does logic tell us? But wild to me how many people are, floating stuff out. I'm not necessarily saying that this person is, but the reason I started yelling is because I read this. But Tom Brady, according to this report, Tom Brady and the Raiders GM are not super high on Darnold or any other potential free agent quarterback. You see some of this and you're like, okay, where's it come from? Not necessarily this, but just in general. And you got to understand we live in smoke mother freaking season. And we got to digest it from all levels. And no, this ain't no clickbait show. This is a show that sometimes will tell you what we're hearing and then we shoot it down. Or we tell you something we're hearing. It's out there. It's spreading like wildfire. We go live with the topic and the title. I put question marks whenever it's something that's being talked about. And then in the show, I shoot it down or I prop it up or I tell you the different likelihoods of both sides of the fence because sometimes that's where we live on these topics. I don't know that Tom Brady thinks. I don't believe. No offense, Vic. I don't know that I believe that this is coming from a very concrete place. That not only that, like you tell me, you're running an organization, you really going to tip your hand? Oh yeah, we don't like all these free agents. Here's our hand. We like Cam Ward. That's what we're doing. Okay? We're getting on the Cam Ward train. Anybody want to stand in our way and make it a more difficult road? Because we just gave you our blueprint. Who here is gifting their blueprint to everybody else? I'm not telling people what I want, what I'm doing, who I'm out on, who I'm in on, who I might be going after. Why in the hell would I let anybody know that I want to go after Sam Darnold if I'm Tom Brady? Why in the hell would I want to let anybody know that, especially in Darnold's case, when people are vying for him, or maybe especially in a case like any other scenario, the reason the Stafford information, that's going to break because Tom Brady's meeting with him. It's hard to hide that, but at that point, it's like you've got a lot of negotiating power going, okay, you're sitting here with me. You're not sitting with anybody else. You're sitting here with me. So I don't care who knows that I'm telegraphing this. But with things you can't control, like Fields can go anywhere right now. Sam Darnold can go anywhere right now, assuming he doesn't get tagged at the last second. And Aaron Rodgers can talk to other teams right now. That's totally legal. That's not tampering. He has been given permission to go speak to other clubs. You're not telegraphing nothing. Stop Mickey Mouse reporting. Raiders probably going to look and kick the tires, you would think, on all three of these ideas. The Darnold, the Aaron Rodgers, and also the Justin Fields avenues. And then, of course, the Raiders, who really crapped the bed during the 2024 NFL draft, not taking Bo Milton. They crapped the bed earlier in the draft, not trading up and getting aggressive, thinking at 13, my name's Pierce, and I'm vying for to run this organization at a head coaching level for years and years to come, and I'm just going to sit back like an absolute waiting William, just waiting at pick 13. Oh, something's going to slip to me. Penix Jr. should be there at 13. Penix Jr., I'm just going to sit here. I'm not going to move up. I'm not going to do anything. I'm pounding the table saying trade up for Penix Jr. or Bo Nix. Go get one because everybody's going to want a quarterback. This is a good quarterback class. Oh, Penix Jr. is not really even a first rounder according to some clubs, says the Mickey Mouse reporters. And what do we say? Top 10. He's going top 10. Penix Jr. is a top 10 quarterback. He's going to go in the top 10. A team's going to value him there. He went in the top 10. Bo Nix went before the Raiders picked at 13. Everybody was gone. The Raiders crapped the bed, diarrhea style, all over the place. So the Raiders have a lot of pressure on them to just sit back and wait. They must be aggressive. Can the Raiders trade up? Will the Raiders trade up? Are the Raiders... Do they have the balls of steel to move from 6 to 1 or 2? You can definitely breach this 1 overall pick. The Titans are teeter-tottering. They don't know what in the hell they're going to do. They know they can't win right now. They want Cam Ward. They want Travis Hunter. They want Abdul. Maybe they get Carter later if they trade down to 6 and he falls. Maybe he doesn't. Doesn't matter. There's still a lot of opportunity. Ted McMillan, lots of players in this draft. The 6th pick with a future first rounder, maybe even something else, will look awfully attractive. And if you are the Raiders, you better make this move. If you don't make this move, or at least get Justin Fields, then you are sitting on your hands once again for another season. And I wouldn't blame Max Crosby for not even wanting to be there at that point. I wouldn't blame Brock Bowers to throw his hands up and say, are you going to get me a quarterback so you can see even a little sliver of my potential, because I'm out there dropping loads on a weekly basis without a quarterback, a competent quarterback, throwing me the football. What kind of player could Brock Bowers be if he had a damn QB? So let's trade up, Raiders. Let's get aggressive. Or let's go get a monster at 6 and bring in Justin Fields and control our destiny that way. There's 2 options. Sam Darnold will work, but I don't even like it that much, to be honest with you. Aaron Rodgers, no thank you. The Raiders aren't looking for A-Rod, I don't think. The Raiders are looking to build something long-term. If the Raiders went after Aaron Rodgers, it would really be a joke, because they don't have the team to win now. They have a team. Think of the Lions 1 year before the Lions were great. We knew they were coming. The Lions year where they barely missed the playoffs a couple years ago, we all knew they were going to potentially be looking like monsters on the rise. That's what the Raiders need to do in 2025. It needs to be a year of letting people know we are coming. And if you go get Aaron Rodgers, you are 2 or 3 years away from letting people know you are coming. If not, setting the franchise back way too far, because the stars won't align for everybody by the time you get it all worked out again. Right now, the Raiders need to let people know we are coming. And you need to have a quarterback to the tune of a Justin Fields or Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders in order to do that. Or you put your balls on the table and you go get Joe Milton. It's very simple. It's very simple. Sam Darnold, not, according to this report, not on the radar. Justin Fields might not be on the radar of the Raiders. We'll see. And I'm not saying that guy's wrong. I'm just saying a lot of people are throwing a bunch of source, trust me, bro, crap at the wall. And I'm not buying it. You can't name a source. You don't have nothing. You can't name a source, and I don't know who you are. You don't have nothing. Matthew Stafford, again, for those that don't know, on the earlier show, pretty much is going to agree to what sounds to be a $90 to $100 million guaranteed deal to stay with the Los Angeles Rams, which is fantastic news for Puka Nacua. His hair is probably in good condition. From what I am gathering, the mullet is definitely being soaked right now in Vidal, Sassoon, and basically, what are some other the better conditioners out there? I don't know. But they're soaking his hair right now, Puka Nacua, and he's getting ready for 2025.
Through sheer science and intense aerodynamic study, the mullet of Puka Nacua has been reconstructed inside the Fantasy Football Show studios. This systematic balance of hair volume, mixed with both Quantum Atom fiber technology and L'Oreal shampoo and conditioner, creates a floating mechanism to which the world has never seen. Patent pending to see this prototype in action. See Puka on Sundays as he floats around the field.
For those that don't know, yes, Travis Kelce's back. We report on that several times. For those asking in the chat, 100% back. He's good to go. But what do you get your hopes up about? What, Travis? Phone lines are open. Dial in, dial in, dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
And then we have this report we were going to talk about last night. The show cut out. I didn't feel like going live again after that, just having a confusing 2 live streams to connect. But we got most everything out anyway before it died. Giants have been discussing potentially signing Aaron Rodgers while in Indy. So there's that report that comes from Diana Rossini. So we'll see if that happens. I think that with the Giants, it's a little different than with the Raiders. The Raiders are building something from a Tom Brady foundation, steady, patience. There's going to be room for potential, a little more error, if you will, at least, and coaching, whatever. But the Tom Brady, the decision makers aren't going to rush anything. This is going to be, solid decisions and patience through it all. Whereas the Giants, you got Joe Scheinbach and Dable fighting for their lives, and an owner that you can like him all you want, call him a sweetheart, whatever, but an owner that doesn't really stand his ground and say, hey, let's keep Saquon Barkley, when he wanted to keep Saquon Barkley, and he told Joe Shine on Hard Knocks, the video footage is out there, I'm just not going to be able to sleep at night if Saquon Barkley's with the Eagles. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Saquon Barkley signing with the Eagles, and Joe Shine on video is smiling like this. So, look, I don't believe the owner is going to step in the way of Dable and Joe Scheinbach making bad decisions to save their job. So wouldn't surprise me if they said to themselves, let's act now. Let's go get Aaron Rodgers. And then number 3 overall, they trade down, whatever. And then Sanders or Cam Ward falls to 3, and then they kick themselves for making the move. Doesn't mean I will shy away from my bold, strong stance on Malik Neighbors, because Malik Neighbors did it with nobody last year. And at least Aaron Rodgers for the year is going to spoon feed him. Now, I will say that I hope to the fantasy, I hope to all end that this team, the New York Giants, does bring in a long-term investment. They get Shador. They get Cam Ward preferably. They go get Darnold or Fields preferably. Because I do want stability for Neighbors. Neighbors will be better if he has a quarterback to grow with. There's no, it's good for him to have Rodgers and then he's going to bounce to the next quarterback. I think he'll weather through it. Look at JJ. JJ's weather through it. These are like QB-proof wide receivers. These are the top of the top. These are the Jamar Chase, JJ, Neighbors. They're on the same playing field. One's not better than the other. Neighbors is just as good as Jamar Chase and JJ. They're all 3 in their own tier together. The 3-headed monster tier for wide receiver. So he'll be fine. And he'll be okay this year. But I want him to have Cam Ward. I want him to have Justin Fields. Justin Fields made DJ Moore a top 5 wide receiver in Chicago. Don't get confused about how Pickens didn't do well with Fields, so you're thinking that Fields can't make a good wide receiver. That was on the Steelers. That was on the Steelers playbook. That was on the Steelers and how they unlocked and unleashed Justin Fields and kind of pigeonholed him in a spot where he couldn't deliver or unleash himself properly. So it's not a long-term investment, but it is what we're hearing is potentially a landing spot for Aaron Rodgers in New York to play with Neighbors. Could be worse. It's better than Danny Dimes. I mean, think about it from this perspective. Before you start going, this is doom and gloom, Aaron Rodgers, if they had Danny Dimes still, it's doom and gloom there. They had Tyrod Taylor, or they had Geno Smith, or they had any. It's still doom and gloom for the long term. You know, unless it's Cam Ward, Shador, or Fields, this is the best short-term option of all of the other options, which were also going to be short-term. There's no long-term option unless it's Joe Milton, which I love that idea. Joe Milton, no one even, you can laugh at Joe Milton all you want, and a lot of people will, and I understand. But that's, you know, that's closed-mindedness, in my opinion. Cam Ward, this is where it gets interesting. So you start hearing me talk about how the Giants need to get aggressive. This report, completely different from the Aaron Rodgers report, hence we're in smoke season, that the Giants are seeking a pair a veteran quarterback and a rookie quarterback via a trade up to the number 1 overall draft pick to replace their quarterback situation. What I don't understand here is you're looking to pair a veteran quarterback. Why is that the lead of the way this is written up? It's wild. They want to go get Cam Ward, but we want to pair him with a veteran quarterback. Who cares about any other quarterback on the roster? This is where it's frustrating. You know, it's like, what are we talking about a veteran quarterback at all if we're talking about Cam Ward? If you draft Cam Ward's starting. You don't need to pair him with anybody. Whoever's backing him up, if this team loses Cam Ward, they're done. They're losing. There's no winning at all. You could say Aaron Rodgers with Cam Ward, but you don't bring in Aaron Rodgers if you draft Cam Ward. What are you going to do? Start Aaron Rodgers and coach Cam Ward along and teach him some things? No, you start Cam Ward. Any team that drafts a quarterback in the top 10 overall that doesn't start him, and this goes for the Falcons too, it's a moronic move. You know, and as much as I love the way the team did have in Atlanta 2 options, I would have switched over to Penix Jr. the first signs of struggle. That's where the Falcons did screw the pooch in 2024, and I 100% blame them. Like, this was a Raheem Morris problem, and he made a mistake. It's almost a fireable offense, although I do believe in what they have, and I'm glad they're together. I'm glad it's all good now, but this is a Raheem Morris absolute blunder. But Cam Ward, who cares about a veteran? No veteran needs to be on the roster. You don't need to go get a vet. It's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. Who are you starting over Cam Ward? Have you lost your mind? But this report, totally different than the other report, that the Giants, you know, are they looking at Aaron Rodgers? Are they looking at Cam Ward? Is that what they're trying to piece together as a 2-piece thing? And is he interested in playing behind Cam Ward? And if anybody thinks he's starting over Cam Ward, it's ridiculous. So the news is all over the place, but this is the exciting part. This is what we all do actually live for. This might look like I'm upset right now, but this is my resting face. I assure you I'm very excited. This is my excited face. I'm very, very amped up, excited. Smile from ear to ear. Phone lines are open. Dial in.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Imagine thinking you're going to start Aaron Rodgers. Like, somebody's going to call in probably and be like, hey, Smitty, hear me out. You draft Aaron Rodgers, draft Cam Ward, start Aaron Rodgers, and let him learn behind. You're not learning nothing anymore on the bench at the NFL level when you're a top 10 overall pick, when you're a QB 1 or 2 overall in the draft class. You start right away or you have no business drafting that quarterback. And this goes, again, back to the Falcons and why a lot of people had a problem with it. I didn't have a problem with it because I didn't personally think Kirk Cousins was worth $100 million, you know, guaranteed. So regardless of what decision was made there, the smart move was to draft Penix Jr. Look how smart that move was. It was a genius move. You could just say they misstepped prior to that. Sure. But drafting Penix Jr., everybody ripped on that part of it, and I did not. I said it's genius. It's just one genius move after potentially a blunder move. 330, you're live. What's your name and where are you calling from? 330. Okay, not prepared. Dial into the phone line. What else we got here? Raiders can afford 2 good quarterbacks. You don't want 2 good quarterbacks, though, bro. You just want... Like, you need to build other places. Like, what two good quarterbacks are you talking about? You talking about two mediocre quarterbacks? Because if we're talking about two good quarterbacks, why would you want to even create that kind of drama? Why not? This is why, if you're the Patriots, you should probably trade Joe Milton at this point, just to see if you can better the commitment you have to May. If you want Drake May to become that star and you've got a little value in Joe Milton, you can't really plan for plan B. Planning too much for plan B is destroying plan A. With Stafford staying, what are the next free agent signings to drop at QB that change teams' draft strategy? Well, everything we're talking about now is going to change, the strategy for everybody else. So could they just grab BPA and wait for 2026? There's so many variables at play. Like, example, if Fields goes to the Giants, then the Raiders are totally maybe in a completely different lane and idea. Maybe the Raiders wouldn't aggressively trade up to the number 1 or number 2 overall pick if Fields was in play. If Fields is out of play, then all of a sudden, or if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Raiders, then, the Giants are probably going to lock in on Fields if they can. If Fields goes back to Pittsburgh, then Russell Wilson all of a sudden goes talking to the Raiders. Pete Carroll goes talking to the Giants. The Giants are the typical team that would sign Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson's in New York, I'm not going to be happy about that. I think it's okay for Neighbors, but it's not the greatest landing spot for Neighbors to have Russell Wilson throwing him, but these hospital moonballs. But at least Russell Wilson's probably better than Danny Dimes still, and if anybody could maybe fix Russell a little bit, it would be the quarterback whisperer Brian Dable. But at the end of the day, I don't want that. But everything's going to be contingent upon the next quarterback, and then it changes everybody's plan. But there's really no way to map this out right now. Like, Stafford was a huge domino, and once that fell, things started falling in different directions already. I think if you are a team like the Raiders, like, if it's up to me, bro, I want the Raiders and the Raiders and the Giants to take the 2 quarterbacks. I want them in the, well, let's say Cleveland goes Carter, okay? So I want the Raiders to trade up to 1 and the Giants to take Shedeur, the Raiders to take Cam Ward, or vice versa, and I want that to land that way. If we're talking long term and all that, and Fields is in the mix too, of course. Or if Cleveland or let's say the Raiders trade into the 1 pick, and Cleveland brings in Justin Fields, like, then you got the 3 quarterbacks, replacing those spots, and then the Browns could take freaking Travis Hunter if they want. Like, that would be crazy. Fields and Travis Hunter on the Cleveland Browns would be remarkable. But it's so hard to predict. I think because Aaron Rodgers has been given permission to speak to other clubs already, he's kind of maybe going to guide and direct the attention for a little bit, potentially. I think the Fields projection and the speculation and maybe where he's talking and what people are hearing could also very much guide everything. But it probably does come down to Fields and Aaron Rodgers kind of shaping the direction of the next couple of days. And then you have the draft capital of Shedeur and Cam Ward, the rising of the values with the interviews and the talk at the combine, and how that affects the likelihood that the Raiders say, hold off on Aaron Rodgers Fields, we're going to trade up. Like, it's exciting times. And I would say that other times I can predict a little bit more what I think could happen. This is kind of as you say, BBQ, what happens now with Stafford? What happens next when one of these other things, these dominoes drop? It changes everybody's game plan. So there's no real way to predict where this is going to go. Thank you for the super chat, by the way, bro. No way to predict which way this is going to go 3 moves down, because every move's going to change and jostle it. Think of it like a Rubik's Cube. You turn every one of these things is going to be like turning it, and then there's a whole new landscape. So it's going to be hard to really know what's going to happen for any of these teams. It's just going to be a wild ride, and we'll be here going live for it. Sorry I couldn't go live immediately on the Stafford news today. I was out of the studio. I knew that was going to happen. It happens every time. If ever I leave for like a 2-hour period and I'm committed and gone, it's madness. There's always a piece of breaking news, and it's always when I'm already like driving away, and I'm like, son of a. So right when I left, it happened. Fields talking to the Raiders to the moon if he goes there for sure. Fields in Bowers, unbelievable connection right there. Giants bringing in Struck to work out. We got what was I reading over here? Somebody dropped something I was going to throw on screen here. Clint, start getting serious in the chat, okay? Stop dropping nonsense, bro. It's fun watching how this shapes up. Yeah, the off season. I think this is your first off season here, right, BBQ? But it gets wild in here. I mean, like right now, it's even surprising we don't have like 500 people in the live chat right now. I think people are kind of taking their break. This news is a little early. We're not even. This is February still. March, like once we start getting into March, tomorrow is March 1. Then whenever there's any breaking news, you know, when we go live on it, it's like popping off. Last year, I want to say during, I forget which was it, the Ayuk potential, I forget what it was, but we had 1,500 people in the live stream for the entire show. So it gets popping off. 1,500 live viewers during the entire like hour and a half show. It was crazy. I forget what news that was, but phone lines, try calling in now. I'm sorry if I...
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Phone lines have been having problems lately. I'm going to have to look into some solutions, but hang tight. 50 gifted memberships from BBQ. Unbelievable. And BBQ, that's 2 bold predictions to put on the board up above my head, bro. So you have one from, I believe, last night or whatever the night before. I forget. My days are running together. But now you have 2 bold predictions to put on the board.
$50. Give me $50, holla. Got that bottle, brother, Smitty. Give me $50. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, BBQ. Appreciate you. Guys, if you get a gifted membership from this monster BBQ, thank him. He just dropped it. If you're not getting them, if you're wondering why you're not getting them, make sure you if someone can guide everybody how to do it. Go into your settings. You got to accept gifted memberships if for any reason that'd be turned off. Phone lines are open. Dial in. Hopefully my lines are working. I don't know if they are. Other news. I got to keep checking the news wire. I got to keep remembering to scan because there's constantly stuff breaking. Here is the most recent news that's floating around. Jackson Dart says he's trying to model his game after Jalen Hurts. Jackson Dart is kind of a wild card quarterback. Definitely could be the top, the third ranked QB across the board for everybody, come draft day, come NFL draft day. So Dart is somebody to monitor as he climbs. He's kind of the JJ McCarthy of last year's draft. JJ McCarthy did this quick climb, and then there was talk about JJ McCarthy going 2, and then it simmered down a little bit, and then he fell. But there was, if you remember in the offseason, before the draft, there was a lot of quick chatter, very garbage takes, people trying to create buzz that said he was going to go 2 overall, or he might be the second quarter. It was wild. Go ahead, Tebow, you're live. Tebow.
Hey, what's going on there,
What's
Smitty?
up?
Hey, no, I was just calling in since I heard that you were kind of out of pocket today. I wanted to see if did you happen to see that tweet about DK possibly going to Green Bay?
We've seen a few different. We talked about a few different reports on Debo and some other things. So yeah, I've been out of pocket. I was just out of the studio for 2 hours when that Stafford news broke, but. Yeah,
no, I was kind of just wondering what maybe your thought was on that.
Yeah, the thought process is the 2 places that are most likely at this stage in the game. We've heard that the Broncos are potentially out, but the Texans and I believe we're still going to hear Buffalo Bill and Raven interest. But yeah, Green Bay's a thought for sure. But I don't know that there's anything serious going on. I think that there's Washington Commander buzz as well. I think that report that the kind of you're talking about that at least triggered all of those rumors was Washington and maybe Green Bay together. That was the report that I was looking at earlier. But I think these are just speculation pieces. I don't think people have much information. The thing about, like I said, the thing about the Niners is they're very tight-lipped. I don't know. We'll see what's what. We also heard that that Stafford was leaving. So hard to say, but it is interesting. Green Bay would be the Green Bay would be a very interesting place. I think you probably have Dobbs or a player going to San Francisco, so it would be probably some receiver in exchange, but you never know. You could just be it for a draft pick. But I don't think it would be Jaden Reed or anything. If the Niners get Jaden Reed, that would be a big mistake, because Reed is better than Debo. So I don't think Reed would be involved. But maybe a Wicks, maybe a Dobbs, possibly. Kind of depends. What else you got?
Well, I was going to say, if reports, what I'm hearing are true, apparently Steelers brass met with Debo's team today, so he's potentially on their radar as well. So I guess they're potentially not even thinking about drafting a wide receiver in the draft unless Amika falls down to him. So, which kind of is disappointing to hear, but it is what it is.
Yeah, the Steelers have been always wanting to acquire a receiver for the last like half a year. So definitely does not surprise me they would kick tires, but I don't know that they would. It's hard to say. I don't know if they would trade for him. We'll have to see.
I think it would be kind of hard, though, because if you don't have your QB identified as of yet, what receiver would really want to go there right now, unless they're giving him inside information that Fields is going to be our guy.
Sometimes these guys don't know what's good for him, bro. So it surprises me when you hear somebody say they want to go play in Pittsburgh, or why would you want to play in Pittsburgh anyway? Like, yeah, they don't. No, I'm just being serious. Like, they don't have a quarterback there. They don't win playoff games. But like, what you hear, is Tomlin's a good coach. The team always wins. There's got to be a good place to go. Like, you're right. They don't have a quarterback yet, but players are wild, bro. They're wild, but. Debo, I could see Debo in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform. It wouldn't surprise me. I could see him still could see him in a Denver uniform, even though they're potentially shooting that down. The team that makes the most sense, period, for Debo would be the Ravens, because the Ravens can win a Super Bowl. He wants that. And I think he'll have a big desire to go play with doubted players like Henry and like Lamar. It's very much Debo's mentality right now. Like, underdogs, people doubt us. Let me go join up with the villains. That's where I believe Debo would love to go if you presented all these options and he could choose. And this is just my speculation, but I think the team that needs him the most would be the Houston Texans, because they need a wide receiver too, more than anybody. And maybe Debo at this point in his career, and this happens, he's not necessarily looking to be this guy that's getting hit all the time, constantly. Maybe he kind of wants to slide under the radar and just make big plays as the number 2. And, I'm sure he appreciates Stroud's, skill level. I know we're all a little disappointed in that he crapped the bed in 2024. But if you're a wide receiver, or if you're any football fanatic or connoisseur, that Stroud is still a good quarterback. Just like that Justin Herbert's still a good quarterback, despite crapping the bed at the end of the year, not living up to his potential pretty much his whole entire career. And you also know that the same thing for Trevor Lawrence. That Trevor Lawrence is a good quarterback. He just needs a better situation. But we'll find out, man. I mean, Debo on the move is definitely going to be one of the most talked about and explosive live streams that we're going to have here in the near future. It's just a matter of when it goes down. But we got a little time. He's got permission to talk to other teams. That's the most we can hear. Talking to teams doesn't necessarily mean that team's all in or anything like that. Sometimes teams kick tires just to create buzz, to create, misdirection. It's wild how much time gets wasted.
Agreed. I think it's actually kind of wild, too, that you're not hearing really anybody talk about Darnold as a serious, potential, replacement. It's everyone's, on Stafford or on Rodgers, but I don't really
50
see any
more
of these teams
gifted.
talking about Darnold, which is, to me, kind of surprising because I think he's almost the perfect bridge quarterback for anybody.
BBQ
You could probably sign him.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say BBQ gifted another 50 gifted memberships. BBQ, thank you, bro, for doing another 50. You got 3 bold predictions to throw on the board. I'm going to come looking for your predictions, so get them ready. 250 wads. Thank you, BBQ. Guys, if you got a gifted membership from BBQ, please thank him. Yeah, bro. What did you just say? What was the thing you just said?
Just that I'm surprised that Darnold doesn't seem to be getting talked about a lot compared to...
So Darnold, though, to be fair, though, if you're a GM, are you talking about it? Like, you shouldn't be talking about it. You should be flying under the radar. But I guess, things break. Things can't, only so many things can be kept, quiet. So to your point, right, you'd think that there would be some more buzz about, hey, he's potentially, the interest is brewing here or whatever. But, kind of like the Debo,
right, yeah.
the Debo news. There's no concrete anything, but at least we're hearing the Steelers can't hide that they're meeting with them or whatever. But
no, you're probably right. That's what I actually meant to say. More of a buzz. Yeah, no one's going to go out there and say, "Hey, I'm interested in Darnold."
I think, but also I think the Stafford domino had to drop. So now that Stafford domino is dropped, because that's the top dog. Now all of a sudden you've got everybody going, okay, now we got to scramble. So I think you're going to see everybody scatter, and then we'll see some more definitive stuff coming out, or some clear indications of where teams might be heading. But it is always wild to me when a team says we're not interested in Justin Fields or something. It's like, why would you even solidify any of that in public and allow people to kind of dismantle your game plan a little bit? I don't understand it. That's why I say the NFL is very much like draft day. You would think that there would be more secrecy and more game playing at the GM and owner level, and sometimes they're just very blunt. And I don't know. You could respect it and say they're it's good when people are honest, but it's weird to me. Gump, let me go to Gump real quick. Hold on, Tebow, you can mute yourself real quick. Gump, don't give me any nonsense today, Gump. Just stick on the topic here. The topic is Stafford. It's not your Lions. Stop talking about your Lions. The topic is Fields. Where's Fields go now? What's going on? Oh, he hung up. Apparently he wanted to only talk Lions, so he just decided to deuce. Calvin says Debo to Washington for a 5th rounder. I mean, who knows? Oh, here's Gump. Who knows? I mean, Debo, look, Peters has a special relationship with Niner players. We'll kind of see. We don't really know for sure how much he wants to put Debo, an older player, in this situation with JD5. But then again, it's like, not every piece of the puzzle has to be a long-term growing investment to mature along JD5. Some of it could be, hey, we are one player away from winning now. Let's worry about that, and then let's try and also get a McLaurin replacement in place, like a Egbuka, and get aggressive in the draft. Maybe. I mean, damn, if you took whatever you got out of Debo, or if you took Debo and you got every bit out of him, and you're able to get aggressive, and Peters, I don't know how aggressive he would get because he's so good at drafting in the 2nd and the 3rd and the 4th and 5th round, so he likes to have those picks. But if you got aggressive, traded up for Egbuka, let's say, that would be crazy. McLaurin, Egbuka, Debo, it would be one of the better wide receiver rooms in the NFL. Gump, you're on the phone line live. No Lion talk. This is about Fields and Stafford, the Raiders, the Rams. Go ahead, you're live.
Come on. I had something to say.
You always have something to say. No one cares about your Lion predictions right now. Gump, bring the relevant.
Well,
we're in here talking about this breaking news here, and you want to give me some sort of. Hurry up with your Lion take. God, it's all he does.
Okay. Do you remember we were talking yesterday about Hendon Hooker?
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay. Unfortunately, the bad news for everybody, I think, and when I say I repeat, I think that the Lions are going undefeated, and Hendon Hooker's going to play the Earl
Finish
Morale,
him.
and Jared Goff is going to be done united.
Call terminate.
I don't know. It's not even like he's not even funny at this point. It's like the guy doesn't live in. Anyway, all right. Anything else, Tebow?
No, nothing else for me, Smitty. But no,
All
I
right,
just wanted to call in while I was driving home. So good chatting.
All right, later, bro. Appreciate you. Debo Washington. Yeah, it would be good. It'd be good, especially if you don't end it there. You know, you keep going. You know, don't let that be the end all of it. But Peter, don't even worry. Peters has got it under control. BBQ, did you give me your predictions yet? For anybody who doesn't know, you drop a $50 prediction, a $50 hauler, drop your prediction. The 50 gifted memberships counts too. I put your bold prediction on the board behind me. The only 3 that are off limits are JSN, top 4, Genty, top 5, running back, Neighbors, wide receiver 1 overall. So you can't really just one-up those. And so you'd have to do like an anti, you know, you have to be like Neighbors will bust, which, you know, you can put on the board at your own peril. But BBQ, let me see if you have any predictions here. Why do people act like Justin Fields never played college football? I don't know. It's a good question. Did BBQ drop it? BBQ. I'll do another drop. Make sure you're set up to receive membership, says BBQ. BBQ, if you could call in sometime and drop your bold prediction, that would be probably easiest. Every time I try and search for your comment, it's BBQ gifted a membership, so I can't even find it. Gump, you're live again, yeah. But I'm not having a lion conversation with you. So you can either talk about the relevant topics. No one cares. I'm sorry. I hate to be blunt with you, but you're talking
okay.
out of your rear end.
All right. I like it. How about Debo? I think Debo would be perfect for the Lions. I mean,
I mean to break his heart, but like he's got to stop. He's got to learn. Any other phone callers before we end the show at about an hour? It's about 47 minutes in, so we got about 10 to 12 minutes left.
Call into the show.
Dial in.
Call into the show.
Gump. Jeez, man. I'm Seattle native. Seattle wants to keep Geno and DK. Yeah, I mean, that's the sense I get too, is they're not trying to shop DK, but you know, a crazy offer, you never know, bro. A crazy offer, and thing could happen. Don't always agree with you, especially with your takes on the Niners. Well, I'm sure you don't if you're a Niner fan, but what take on the Niners have I been wrong on in the last, 2 years? Especially with the take on the Niners, but I love all the interaction besides Lions. Okay, well, thank you. Appreciate you, Hughes, but don't always agree with you too, but glad you're here. If you don't agree with me, then I don't agree with you, clearly. But I pretty much nailed everything San Francisco across the board last year. So that means you were 100% wrong, and I was 100% wrong, right. I was 100% right. You were 100% wrong on the Niner takes last year. So basically what you meant to say was, I don't always agree with you, and I was wrong. Appreciate you, though. If you're eligible for a membership, it will show in the chat. Will it say, I don't know where you turn that on. Somebody knows, somebody's turned it on before. I don't see it from that perspective. So if anybody has that information, please let them know where they can turn on their gifted memberships. we'll be live later for sure. Thomas says he dropped gifted memberships as well. Let me see. I didn't see those, Thomas. I'm sorry. Let me see. You got Thomas. Thomas, if you did, I didn't see it, but Thomas to the moon. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate you. I was trying to find it.
To the moon.
Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate you, my boy. We've got Calvin Krim with yet another super chat. Calvin, appreciate you, my boy. He says, just saw a rumor of Diggs to KC. Did you see this? Yeah, I don't know, bro. Diggs is coming back from an ACL tear. I don't know. I mean, where sometimes it's like in smoke season, where is it even coming from, you know? Let me search up some information on this. Cam Newton destroyed a fan for trolling him. How many rings you got? We don't have the same bank account, he said to the kid. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find other pieces of news. We've got Milroe plans on throwing at the combine. He better, because he's got to improve his stock. Matthew Stafford off the table. Eyes turned to Sam Darnold, the top QB. I don't agree with Rappaport on that, but apparently a lot of other people do believe he's the top QB. But again, Sam Darnold, everybody's been on hold about where's Darnold going, and now that Darnold is off the table, now Sam Darnold convos will kick into high gear. It is possible most people do believe that Darnold is the better player. Giants have shown interest in quarterback Sam Darnold. Again, people are just, I feel like most of this stuff people are just throwing out there. Isaiah Bond, rookie wide receiver, says he's going to beat Xavier Worthy's combine 40-yard dash time on Saturday. We'll be here tomorrow, by the way. We'll be live during a lot of that. I'm just scrolling through some of the most relevant news to bring to you guys. Break it down. Yeah, as far as Diggs, I don't really believe Diggs is. He's still coming back from a nasty injury at an old age, bro. I don't know. Packers DK Metcalf by our boy AB Antonio Brown posting a picture of DK Metcalf and a Packers ... But he's been wrong on so many things, and he blocked your boy. You know, Antonio Brown would DM me. He watched the show. He DM me, ask me for advice, and you know, give him numbers. Hey, what's the cap look like here? How much dead cap would it take to, you know, because he kept saying that Justin Herbert was going to Minnesota, right? And he's like, what's the cap hit? And I'd break the stuff down. I'd give him some information. And then one day I just said, hey, come on the show. And he goes, how much budget? He goes, you got budget? And I said, I'm not looking to pay you, bro. I'll promote the hell out of you, but I'm not going to pay you to interview you. You know, this isn't some cameo. Like, you're coming on a pretty nice show, pretty heavy duty show, and I'll give you some damn promotion. You know, well, we talk about you all the time. And he blocked me. He blocked me. Antonio Brown blocked me. So we got more gifted memberships. 50 from BBQ. 50. What are we doing here?
To Jupiter.
50 more from BBQ. He's got 4 bold predictions to put on the board. Anyway, Antonio Brown, you know, says DK Metcalf Green Bay, but he's not always right. we still love him. I love him for the complicated man that he is, even though he blocked me. But you know, whatever. I'm not gonna pay somebody to come on my show. This ain't no cameo. You know, I got I struck a big interview. You know, let me buy some cameo interviews. Dear Antonio Brown, what do you think about the weather? Hey, Smitty, thanks for buying the cameo. Here's my answer. Guy, if I did say I had budget, he'd probably say 15 grand. But Smitty, can I keep DMing you? Packers have a trade offer on the table for the Seattle Seahawks DK Metcalf. This was a report that it came from I mean, it's like a Seattle Seahawks. I don't know what he is. The original report, I'm chasing it back, and I don't know. I don't think that's true, but we'll see. I mean, maybe it is. We had that earlier report. Yeah, the Commanders, the Texans, Deebo Samuel, potential, destinations. Gump, you're live one more time. You get one more chance, Gump. You're live.
All right, I give you something I'm really stewing about. All right, it's not about the Lions. It's about the draft. That kid from Boise State, that running back, could he be the best prospect coming onto the draft? I think he is.
Yes, of course he is,
that
Gump.
Kid from Boise State. Huh?
Of course he is, Gump.
I mean, better than every player. Everyone.
Yeah.
You think he is?
Ashton Genty, he's remarkable.
Yes. But he's the best player in the draft.
I mean, he and Travis Hunter are up there for the most impactful. I mean, they're the two Heisman Trophy, candidates, obviously. So they're for sure up there in everyone's mind as the best talents in the draft. Yeah, you got Abdul Carter's up there as well, but he's the next big thing, bro. He's the next top 5 running back. He's gonna be a top 5 running back in his rookie season. I like Gump trying to get real serious so he doesn't get booted off the line. He's like, let me bring something for real. Gump, how bad are you itching to talk about the Detroit Lions right now? How hard is it for you to just swallow what you want to say and say something relevant? I bet that was painful for you. Go ahead. I'll give you one free Lions take. Go ahead. Go ahead, Gump. You get one freebie without getting hung up on. One freebie about the Lions. Go ahead. Anything you want to say. Get it off your chest. God, Gump, you're a disaster. Gump, are you there? Did Gump pass out and he's driving the tractor trailer without... Nobody's awake. It's just going like this on the road. Gump. Earth to Gump. Earth to Gump. Hello? What are you hauling today, Gump? What's he doing?
Hello?
Yeah, Gump, we're waiting. We're right here.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
One free Lions take?
God, that's delayed. Where were you? What were you doing? I was calling for you.
Oh my God. I bought a new headset. I don't know how this thing works.
Okay. Be careful. What are you hauling today in the tractor trailer today? What are you hauling across the country?
I'm just going empty to Salt Lake.
Empty to Salt Lake. Kind of like empty.
So I get one free Lions take?
Empty here, empty back there. Yeah, one free Lions take. I won't hold it against you. Won't hang up on you because of it. I don't think. Go ahead.
What scares me about that kid from BYU, that he might be as good as Barry Sanders, or I don't know. He's scary. He's scary good.
BYU.
The scariest one coming out as a running back for a long time.
You talking about? You trying to go back? You're trying to? You misspeaking? You mean you still talking about Genty? You mean?
Yeah.
Give me your line. You said you're going to give me a Lions take. Give me a Lions take. Go.
Okay, I'll give you a Lions take. I bought the property in Arizona. We can go to the Cardinals and Lions game. I'll buy you a ticket.
I don't know about that, Gump. Am I gonna come back?
Well, hey, listen. I'll have a great big reefer unit. We put the tailgate party right in the back of the reefer unit.
I might show up on a Zoom call. I might show up on a Zoom call. You can bring me on Zoom. Gump, I don't really. The
No,
thing
I mean,
is,
I'm
I
talking
don't
about
really,
going-
I don't
I'm
really
talking about
leave.
Going to the football game.
Yeah, I don't really leave. To be honest with you, I know that sounds like, oh, you wouldn't go to. I got to report on all the games. I'm not about the card. Like I live in Arizona. I'm a Cardinal fan, but my job is this. You know what I mean? It's like people say you don't go to games. Like, how can I go to a Cardinal game? I got to report. It's more important for me to report on all the games. And if there's like a Monday night game or a Sunday game, not Sunday night game, yeah, I could go, but I still don't. It doesn't interest me. Like, I hate crowds. I'd rather just do a show.
Yeah, I don't want to go by myself. You know
Not-
what I mean? I'd probably get picked on or something.
Well,
you know what I mean?
maybe because
But
you're
I
always
wanna go
talking about
because-
weird things, Gump. Like, Hendon Hooker's going to be a superstar when I'm not saying he's not good, but he can't play. You don't play Hendon Hooker, Gump. Not when Goff is your quarterback. You can't do that. You hope that Hendon Hooker's the guy if Goff gets hurt. That's why you drafted him.
I know, but my question is, why was he going to be? Why did they think he was going to win the Heisman until he got hurt?
Look, you're not listening to me, Gump. I like Hendon Hooker. It was kind of a smart pick. He was coming back from an ACL tear, though. He had to wait a whole year before he could even do anything. But Goff stepped up. Okay, and your quarterback, Goff, I'm not saying he's the greatest quarterback in the world at all, but your team's working and functioning at a high level. You can't play around and play games and say, let's start Hendon Hooker for 3 games. I don't know. I don't even want to talk about this. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, Gump. If Hendon Hooker's this good, why would you not want him sitting there in the wings, waiting in case Goff screws up? Because I got news for you. Goff is not the best quarterback in the league. Is there a world where Goff is not the starter 3 years from now? Maybe.
Well, the strange thing about it is they're already talking about these other Lions shows. They're talking about how people have been interested in Hendon Hooker. That was today.
Well, Gump, I'm not arguing that a team shouldn't inquire about trading for him or whatever. Your comment was you think they should start Hendon Hooker at the beginning of the year so they can trade him. You don't run a season or an organization like that.
Maybe you're right about that.
I am right about that. Not maybe. I am right about that.
Okay.
No, but if you would have called in and said, hey, if you would have called in and said, hey, Smitty, do you think that there's a chance that a team could inquire about Hendon Hooker? I could say, yeah.
I think I don't want to get rid of him. I think I want to do the Dolphins 72 act with Earl Morrow and signing United.
Okay. Gump, I appreciate you. I'm not mad at you. I never am. Just because I hang up on you a lot does not mean I'm mad at you or I don't want you to call in again. It's just.
Can I ask you a question?
Last one.
Can I? Well, I've been in this league with my nephew Stevie and Brendan and these other people.
Hi, Stevie.
And I've
Hi, Brendan.
lost like the last 7 years in a row.
That sucks.
But I got close this year.
I'll help you.
When I do draft day, are you going to help me with draft day?
I mean, call in or something, and we'll try and figure it out. Like when you're on the call.
I'll probably be in Michigan. We're building a new garage, so that'll be the war room. So
Yeah, I'm not really. I don't mean to sound like. I don't mean to sound like stuck up or anything, but like I can't help people with individual drafts, man. I'm way too busy. Gump, it doesn't.
Some root beer.
It doesn't. That's not gonna do it. If you call in during the show, I could help you. If we're live, call me up and we'll help you. But I can't just set 2 or 3 hours out of my day.
That draft day is going and all that's happening, you could calm me down and say, don't do that. Don't do that.
Gump, it's not on my bullet points of things to do. Hey, Gump, I got to go. Appreciate you, bro. Call in anytime. You're the man.
Can you think about it, though?
I can't, Gump. Bye. Appreciate you. Poor guy. What does he think I'm doing? Like, I'm just, oh, yeah, I'm free. Let me just, the moment I'm not in here in this studio, just smashing away at content, right? That costs me money not to do videos and be out here creating content. Costs me money. I'm just going to say, hey, family, I got an extra 2 hours. Family never sees me. I walk out and everybody's asleep and I'm supposed to go get dinner. And I go past dinner. It's 7:30 right now. Everyone's waiting for dinner. And I'm going to, hold on, I got to help Gump draft. He's going to send me a root beer. He's going to send me a pizza. Gump, I love you. Appreciate you. BBQ dropping 150 gifted memberships today. I don't know if he opened up another emoji. BBQ, I know you're going to say let the people vote, but what emoji do we need that you think we need, and we'll maybe put it up there. Might have to make a BBQ emoji himself. You know what we will do? Like we have always done in the past, the highest super chatter of the year, and that can get overtaken, gets their own emoji. So right now, if I had to guess, BBQ here in February, I would. Am I wrong? Can someone tell me if I'm wrong? I'd imagine BBQ and Outlaws are pretty close, but BBQ is probably the front runner. So initially, I'm gonna make a BBQ emoji, and I'll try and set a number, and see what that number would be roughly. And that's per show, like the highest super chatter in one show, and that includes gifted memberships. What is that number? And I believe it would probably be BBQ. If you had to guess, I mean, what'd you drop that one night? I mean, it's gotta be like a 3 number or something like that. So the highest super chatter, anybody knocks that number off, they get their own emoji and they take BBQs. Right now, BBQ has the high. I don't know if BBQ, you could throw a number, whatever number is, I'll trust you, that I think somebody would have to beat in a single show. Rock Out, DM, yes sir. Rock Out, $2 hauler, appreciate you. BBQ says, rumor has it Gump drove the truck off of, drove that truck full of cores with Denny the Bandit. Thank you, BBQ, for that. Thank you for the gifted memberships. Thank you, Thomas, for the gifted memberships. Rock Out, what did you say? Thomas celebrates his 24-month membership. Best fantasy football content out there is Smitty. I think this is what you were saying you did, right, Thomas? I'm sorry. I thought you were saying you did gifted memberships. BBQ, you've got a lot of thank yous. Blackbeard celebrating 32-month membership. Smash that thumb up button on the way out the door. Thank you, Blackbeard, for celebrating that with us. You guys absolutely rock. Rock Out. What did Rock Out just say again? DM. Okay, so let me go to my DMs real quickly, see what Rock Out is saying on Instagram. Here he is. Probably some sort of rap beat.
Get your neighbor. He be catching damn balls, running real fast, scoring touchdowns. He's your neighbor.
Rock Out, appreciate you.
Mashed potatoes.
Excellent job. He's your neighbor. See you all tonight. Be back around midnight Eastern. Thank you, BBQ, again. Did BBQ say what he thought the number was? Let's see what he said. Gump, you're not working your garage door. BBQ, throw out a number. I need the number, just a guess, so that I can make that the top number to beat. And then you're going to get your own emoji until somebody knocks you off the totem pole. 400. Okay, so, and I believe it. BBQ's the man, bro. BBQ, three-way is the man. He gets his own emoji. Just like Ron Navy's is cemented in. I don't know, depends if Ron pisses me off. But Ron's has stayed. But the winner is of the revolving emoji is who is the biggest super chatter in a single live stream for the current year. And it could be gifted memberships as well, but BBQ currently holds it. And so if anybody drops a 401, they get the emoji. Congratulations to BBQ.
Mashed potatoes.
Congratulations, son. Very, very proud of you. And on that note, speaking of being proud of an individual, I'm proud of Miss Robeson.
Neighbor.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Won't you be my neighbor?
In a distant galaxy far away, a planet called Neighboron had an extinction-level event which caused utter collapse. One pod escaped containing a young boy the last of his kind. Drifting off course after an asteroid shower encounter, the pod found its way into Earth's orbit and crash-landed on a small farm. On this farm, the young boy lived a normal and hidden life, until his powers became evident and his mission and purpose became clear.
I'll be back tonight.
His name was to be Neighbors after his home planet.
Midnight.
He would comb the Earth looking to save all that needed his help. At first, Neighbors was keeping up with all who needed his help, but he couldn't do it alone. He needed a sidekick to truly become invincible and turn into a supernova.
And with the third overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select
By the way, BBQ, I put you on that Neighbors emoji, or that Neighbors video as a sponsor for all the memberships you've been given. I hope that's okay. I'm sure you appreciate that. I won't argue. So, see you all tonight.